Okay, this is a review for the book Overgrowth by Mira Grant. If you're wondering why it looks a bit different to the covers you've seen, I have the Starbright Illumicrate exclusive edition. This was the first one I got from their science fiction subscription. Probably won't get any more. I've never read anything by Mira Grant. I know she did the Feed series, which I think were pretty popular. She also writes as Shannon Maguire, and she does like contemporary fantasy. I'm not going to be reading any of her books after this one. This was advertised as like Annihilation and Day of the Triffids, both horror, both incredibly foreboding and atmospheric, which this book is not after about the first 30 pages. There was no fear and tension for me. I was begging for those aliens to invade just so something interesting would happen. I hate descriptions of books which are just like listing other famous properties. It's really saying nothing original going on here. It's like Twilight meets the Goldfinch. It's like Babel and Fourth Wing had a baby. It's like the Hunger Games had an evil twin. The first 30 pages of the book, pretty good. It's about an alien planet sending out these seeds into the universe. Some of them land on Earth. They grow into a flower that attracts people towards them and then replaces them with an exact replica. One of these people is 3-year-old Anastasia Miller. She returns home after a national search for her and tells her mother, "I'm not your daughter, I'm an alien and other aliens are coming." It's good, it's creepy, it's atmospheric stuff. It then skips forward into the future where Anastasia is an adult and it becomes none of these things. Anastasia has a master's degree, but she works in customer service. She's good at her job, but all her co-workers hate her, presumably because she compulsively tells them she's an alien all the time. She lives with roommate Mandy, who's quirky and likes cosplay, and also roommate and landlord Lucas. It's a pretty messed up situation to be living with your tenants. Anastasia also has a boyfriend who lives in Florida and really likes alligators or something. I didn't really care about any of these people. They're all 30-somethings who have like maybe 1 or 2 character traits, and it's mainly just the things they like. This is 6 years in the future, but everyone talks about old media all the time and talks like a millennial. It's all very like BuzzFeedy. Everyone's making a lot of references and are very flippant about serious situations, just too casual. The main plot starts when aliens send a signal to Earth. It's intercepted, broadcast around the world, and everyone now knows that aliens exist. Now, to me, this would have been the start of the most interesting part of the book. I love media about big world-changing events and how people react to them, like Arrival or War of the Worlds. I just read Project Hail Mary. That's a big part of that. First contact narratives, Contact, Childhood's End, even stuff like Contagion, where it's not about aliens, but something big is happening and you see everybody's reaction. But we are deliberately shielded from anything interesting that could be going on in the outside world because Anastasia simply does not care. She doesn't care about anyone but her friends. When this is all happening, she doesn't look at the news. She doesn't listen to people around her. She doesn't go online until right at the end. Like, we first know something is happening because Anastasia is going home on the bus and there's a big ruckus. Everybody's talking. And instead of taking her headphones off and listening, she keeps them on and thinks, I don't want to know. But I want to know. I want to know how everybody else is reacting. All her friends are very boring. I don't care what they think. So after she gets off the bus, she's picked up by Lucas and Mandy, who still don't tell her what's going on until she gets home. They watch a short news clip, they turn it off, and then they have a discussion. And God, the metaphors in this book are so muddled. Mandy makes a speech about how she's always believed Anastasia when she said she was from an alien planet. She's fine with it because she was raised by immigrants and values them. And yeah, sure, that's nice. But Anastasia is specifically telling everyone the aliens are coming to invade. This is not good language that you should invoke when you're talking about immigration. She then video talks with her boyfriend in Florida, and once again the metaphors are bad. The book has what I think of as the True Blood problem. True Blood was a TV show from the 2010s, if you don't know, and it was about vampires revealing themselves to humanity and trying to integrate. There were lots of parallels drawn between this and gay rights. Them revealing themselves was called Coming Out of the Coffin, and there would be like news segments of vampires debating Christians and talking about vampire marriage rights. But obviously it's not a good idea to draw parallels between gay people who are just regular human beings trying to live their lives and being branded as dangerous by bigots and actual dangerous supernatural creatures who have to drink human blood to live. Even Alan Ball, the creator of the show, was like, maybe don't do that. Graham, Anastasia's boyfriend, is a trans man, and Anastasia makes reference to this constantly. how she bonded with him over their differences and the injustices they face. These aliens are taking over children's bodies, transforming them into inhuman creatures, and brainwashing them. Trans people are not doing that, despite what J.K. Rowling might believe, and I don't think this is the parallel you want to draw. So Anastasia and Graham, they decide to take a plane to Maine to visit the observatory where the broadcast was first recorded. They go to Portland, Maine. I enjoyed this. I did a semester abroad in Portland, Maine. Did not enjoy it at the time, but I'm very nostalgic about it now. They meet at the airport because Graham is coming back from Florida, and then they get stopped by the police who suspect Anastasia is an alien because she has spent her whole life telling people she is. I think this is ironic because everyone's acting like an alien in this conversation. The police and Anastasia and her boyfriend are all talking to each other really weirdly, like not human beings. They say a lot of cryptic stuff. It goes nowhere. They're then allowed to board their plane, and everyone on the flight is watching a news report. And Anastasia's boyfriend says, should we see what's going on? Should we watch the news report? And she's like, no. She goes to sleep. She has a dream about meeting another alien on Earth called Jeff. They then go to a hotel after their flight is over, and Jeff texts them and asks to meet up. How did he get her number? It's not explained. They're just like, he's good at computers. A lot of stuff will be excused this way in the book. When they go to the observatory, they meet two scientists. The references to nerd media in this book are unbearable and unending. One of the scientists, David, is wearing a Steven Universe t-shirt in 2031. Is this an alternative timeline where they stopped making TV shows in 2016? Anyway, I thought it was important that you know when everyone starts getting murdered that a man in the background is wearing a Steven Universe t-shirt. The non-Steven Universe t-shirt wearer is Tony, who is both unbearable and the only person in the book with any common sense, though it comes and goes. She was almost captured by a plant when she was a child, but she managed to escape, and she plans to stop the aliens. It seems to be very ineffectual, whatever she's doing. They have this tedious conversation where Tony just says some sort of long-winded variation of, tell me what you know, I'm not going to help you, and I hate you. And Anastasia says, I'll tell you what I know, but I know nothing. This goes on for a long time. This is an omen of things to come because the book will not say once what it can say 15 times. Anastasia, in frustration, and I can sympathize, goes for a walk, leaving her boyfriend in the observatory with these people who want her dead and presumably aren't too thrilled about her co-conspirator boyfriend. She sees cars coming up the hill. They obviously followed them because she told them exactly where they were going. Jeff, the other alien plant person, arrives and saves them and takes them to his safe house, where everyone proceeds to have the exact same conversation and say the exact same things to each other for like 20 pages. They all keep saying, if we are captured by the police, they will take us to a CIA black site and torture us and experiment on us. Because, of course, that would happen. They all say some variation of this sentence over and over again, but after one day in the safe house, they all decide to take another flight. These people are all scientists. I mean, this is accurate to real life. I know people with doctorates and masters who are idiots, but the author wants you to think these are very, very smart people. They all know the police are after them. They all watch their receptionist at the observatory get shot, but they all decide to go to an airport, an enclosed space full of security and CCTV, and use their government-issued IDs to board a commercial flight where they will be unable to escape. You're told Tony's dad is a billionaire. You could have easily chartered a flight through some sketchy back channel. Graham at one point even just casually says in an unrelated conversation, I know a lot of people with private planes. You didn't think to contact any of these people? You got on the Delta flight? It's maybe for the best that we don't introduce more characters into the book. They're enough already. And I guess it's important that these people are captured by the police, but you should have done this in a way that didn't make them seem like morons. Well, I say captured, but Jeff manages to escape by just going to the bathroom. Do they not have video recording of them all being together, all getting on the flight together? Did they all separately book their tickets? I guess everyone in the book is a moron. In the middle of this, we get a good example of one of the major problems in the book, and there are many, which is unrelated diatribes about modern day issues with no prompting. Let me be clear, I agree with what the author is saying. I just don't know why she's saying it. It's like time and place. The plane is about to be rerouted and they're all about to be captured by the police when she goes off on this tangent about racial profiling by the TSA. Jeff had gotten it worse than I had with the TSA. I looked white, even if I was a vegetable, and I was better at smiling like nothing was wrong, while he was a surly Asian American man with bandages on his cheek. There had been a moment where I'd been sure the TSA agent was about to ask him for a doctor's note clearing him to fly, but then Tony had blown him a kiss and called him darling in a voice like treacle, and suddenly we'd been in the clear. It was almost offensive seeing the power of the white woman at work. We might have to live with misogyny and the patriarchy and all that fun bullshit, but because we'd been placed on such a high pedestal of purity and innocence, our approval could take a dangerous fellow and turn him into a nice guy. It was another form of oppression. How else could people... Oh, it goes on like that for a while. Like, yeah, this is an injustice in society, but I feel like something else is going on and this isn't really relevant. You're all about to be arrested and presumably tortured and killed. There are many moments like this where everything stops so the author can make a little speech. Like, this could have been a tweet. At one point she starts talking about offensive American football team names. It had nothing to do with anything. It doesn't belong in the book. That was my reaction to all of these tangents. Okay, but what's that got to do with anything that's happening? Like, if you want to talk about these issues, you have to more naturally insert them into the book and make it part of the plot. After all this, Anastasia wakes up in an interrogation room and then bargains for her friends and non-friends to be released by cooperating. They take a lot of her blood, they take her skin. Anastasia and all the other aliens on Earth are gradually shedding their human exoskeleton and becoming more like plants in appearance. She's then interrogated by a nameless agent. We later find out she's called Agent Brown and she will be back. The conversation is so tedious. It's basically, Anastasia, tell us what you know. I don't know what you know, so you have to tell me what you know so I can tell you what you don't know. Imagine that, but for like 5 pages. Eventually her roommate Mandy infiltrates the base to save her. It's not explained how. You're just meant to assume some sort of Mission Impossible stuff was going on in the background, which we don't get to hear about because we need the space to get the full force and scope of the tell us what you know conversation. They all go to a safe house and Anastasia starts drinking human blood donated by her friends, and it's revealed that the aliens are coming to Earth to eat all the humans. A lot of little Shop of Horror references are made. It's not funny even once. Also, all her friends are now here, so in one building we have Anastasia, boyfriend Graham, roommate Mandy, landlord Lucas, alien Jeff, new alien Talia, and for some reason, even though she wants everyone to be killed, scientist Tony and Tony's friend and fellow scientist Dave. Why are they there? Go home. And then a state senator who's an alien also appears. There are too many characters. They all have the exact same snarky millennial flippancy in serious situations. They all make the same references despite all being different ages and being from the future. Even the state senator speaks the same as everyone else, even though he's meant to be like 20 years older than them. He even does this like hackneyed thing in movies, which I hate, where a woman says something like sassy or snarky and a man goes like, I like this one, or this one I like. It's very Marvel. There's no TV tropes page for this. There should be. Now, there's a time skip of a few days, thank God. After this, we finally get to the section of the book with the invasion. It starts with Anastasia reading about what's happening in the outside world and being outraged at the fact that other aliens are being monitored and arrested and attacked, while she is sitting there drinking human blood and commenting on how tasty everyone smells, and every other alien in the house is walking around saying to her like, yum yum yum, can't wait to eat all your friends. I'm not feeling too much sympathy for these people. She finally realizes that her friends are in an unsafe situation in this house and tells them to escape in a van, but says she can't come with them. She pretty callously does not tell scientists Tony and David to escape, so they remain behind with the flesh-eating aliens now completely outnumbered. Anyway, the alien armada arrives and the group of human aliens, oxymoron, go to meet them. The aliens explain that they are there to harvest the planet, which we already knew, and that all the aliens are born on different planets, take the form of the life there, and then return to the armada when their birth planet is harvested. There's just a lot of talk about fruitfulness and seeds and crops, and it's all a metaphor for global warming, I guess. And Anastasia and the other aliens who grow up on Earth are told they would be killed if they resisted, but if they don't, they can join the invasion and the armada. Anastasia comes to the realization that the invading aliens don't care about her as an individual and see her as a worker or foot soldier for the invasion of Earth. There's some interesting visuals and descriptions in this section. It briefly started to feel like the highs of the first 30 pages. Then the senator dies. I really question his existence as a character. He did surprisingly little despite being a US senator. Talia gets shot and all Anastasia's friends come back to rescue her and for some reason also rescue Jeff and the other aliens. I don't know, I'd say leave them behind. They're all in the van. Talia is upset about the senator dying. Tony, the only reasonable character in the book, is like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for that guy. I don't. But then she loses all sense and decides to help him save Talia. Mandy goes to a drugstore to get makeup to disguise the aliens. They're all green and have like vines for hair. I think they're going to need some like major color correcting and stage makeup for that. I don't know if whatever you bought from Maybelline from the drugstore is going to cover this. There's some relationship drama with Anastasia and Graham, and let's be honest, Anastasia does not have a leg to stand on. He's like, I love you, but I have some reservations about this whole situation, and she's offended, all the while thinking that he smells so good he could be eaten. Car breaks down, so they all have to walk, and they're confronted by some like vigilante types who the book goes out of the way to make seem awful by having them make like sexual threats towards the alien. It's because otherwise what they were saying would seem very reasonable. It is reasonable to defend yourself against alien invaders who are there to eat you. Talia is shot again, she's like a bullet magnet, and killed. Anastasia and Jeff are taken aboard the alien ship, this time for real because before it was hallucination. Also, Talia didn't actually die, she's taken aboard the ship and healed. Well, thank God, couldn't have gone on without her. All her friends are also on the ship and she asks to see them and for them not to be killed because she needs them for like human social reasons and because she loves them. And the big alien on the ship makes a little speech about, oh, but all the horrible things humans have done and they're destroying their planet, and if we had come and they'd been at peace we would have just gone on to the next planet and left them be. It's not subtle, and also she's there to kill everyone, so is being a hypocrite. She gets to visit her friends. They are naked and unconscious, and landlord Lucas has died, and Anastasia feels bad about the fact that she doesn't really feel bad. Despite them being friends for years, she does not care that he dies and is being eaten. What a thankless character. Maybe this is like the author's commentary on being a landlord. Tony figures out the aliens' plans. It's to transport all the humans on these ships and use them as livestock while they travel the universe. The invasion is going on Earth and we are not seeing any of it. The book is really insistent that you don't see any action. Long, tedious conversations only, no fun allowed. Anastasia meets her alien mother, who is a big spider, and the spider explains the reason that she's feeling no sympathy to anyone on Earth, and the reason she didn't feel any sympathy about Lucas is because there's a pollen on the ship which kind of like helps the Earth aliens acclimatize to the thought of everyone being eradicated. They go back to Earth to do something. I couldn't really concentrate at this point. It was nearly over and I just wanted it to end. And Mandy finally makes this speech where she's like, Anastasia, I defend you, but you are bad. And I'm like, finally some backbone from someone towards this woman. And then she just decides to stay with her anyway. And I'm just thinking, how has Anastasia remained unmurdered? Seattle and a bunch of... Was she in Seattle? Seattle and a bunch of other cities are destroyed off screen. And Anastasia meets up with Tedious Agent Brown again. That's her name, Tedious Agent Brown. And is like, take me to your leader so I can negotiate a ceasefire. But then they get on a plane, and then Agent Brown, my hero, pushes her out of a plane. I guess we're going to believe Agent Brown is the villain of this part of the book because she kidnaps Anastasia's friends and tried to kill her while the aliens are like murdering millions and millions of people. Anastasia is rescued, and this is not a joke, by a big dragon, and she asks that its pronouns. It's like a conservative parody. The dragon takes her to meet the vice president to broker a peace deal, but oh no, Mandy is killed when someone tries to shoot Anastasia's giant spider mother who's there. This kind of feels like some sort of karmic punishment for not entirely letting Anastasia walk all over her. Anastasia then starts beating up the vice president, but alas, Mandy isn't dead. There are so many fake out deaths in this book, it's like a telenovela. Anastasia says, okay, we can talk again, but if Mandy is killed, I'll destroy all of humanity and Earth. I think this is meant to be like a badass moment for her. She's evil, I want her dead. The vice president is like having to bargain. Please don't let your spider mother kill all the children. Something happened I didn't quite understand because my ability to concentrate on this was just gone. But Anastasia decides it's best if the invasion takes place and everyone is killed and remade as the plant people, including Anastasia's boyfriend Graham, who has stuck by her through all her murderous, traitorous actions. Truly the world's most spineless man. The whole book is such a bloated mess of conflicting ideas and awful characterization and boring, ham-fisted writing. Anyway, I have this beautiful exclusive edition of the book, exclusive cover art, exclusive end page art, signed first edition, sprayed edges, a work of art to put on your bookshelf, and if you want it, it will be on eBay.